That's due.
Monty starts doing the tap dance.
Yeah, it was 20, correct?
Mhm.
Okay, at this point, I'm going to turn this over to Monty, and then he'll give it back at the end there when we get to the problem sections.
Well, good afternoon, for the record, I'm Monty Martin, and we put in a discussion about that so far. So, things we're going to talk about today, some interim statistics from the big game draw. We'll look at the web applications, and how many people are applying on the web these days versus paper. How the PIW donation went this year. Combining resident, non-resident, and those applied together, groups. Look at the client demographics, age, juniorhood, how many bonus points, how many people drew various numbers of points, and how many points people have currently after the draw. People that applied and drew multiple PCs. Tag return process. This is our second year of allowing people to return tags. And then Don will call us to look out the back door. Don can talk about our problems. And what we did right. And these are interim numbers. Things do change. Tags are returned, client records are merged together. Some of these numbers will change over time before the year is out. This year in the big game draw, we took 150,000, almost 151,000 applications, which was actually down just a little bit from the previous year. And the guided draw, everybody was just discussing that, 882 applications this year. And later on, I'll have a chart for what's happened to the guided draw. That's best if they can't hear me. I prefer it that way. How about we
Juggling is part of the job description.
Okay. Does that work?
Focus.
Let's see, other stats from coming out of this year. That was the most important one, the slight drop in applications there. Big game OGT donations, 17,000 predator donations, 12,000 tag fees, 1,621,000. What else is worth noting? PIW donations, almost 157,000 from the big game draw. Now look at each of the draws we performed this year. Spring turkey application trend, we were actually down a little bit this year to 1,500 applications. Non-resident guided, it was fairly consistent up until the change. And this year we had 882, which was slightly up from 2009. But you can see the pattern. Big game, as a total, 151,000 applications, down from almost 152,000 last year. So it's been a steady growth up until this past year. We had a few less applications and a few more clients. We had almost 55,000 clients this year, and that's up just about 600 clients. But the applicants, again, were down, and that shifted the ratio. As of this year, 2010, in the big game draw, we were averaging 2.75 applications per client. Errors this year. I was asked to look at this, and I have not come up with an explanation. We had 26 people reject this year for failure to return a questionnaire. These are paper clients. We don't allow, if you're applying on the web, we don't allow you to submit an application if you're rejecting, if you haven't paid the late fee for your return card. I don't have an explanation as to why that one jumped up from 7 from last year to 26 rejected applications this year. All the other numbers are fairly normal. We always have a smattering of a few, but multiple applications for the same species will be up there. That's 93. That's usually people that apply on the web and on paper or submit 2 paper applications. One of those 93 we're the result of. You'll see it in our mea culpa. We gave a client dead wrong information, one of my operators did. The remaining draw, which is the draw after the big game draw, I'm getting confused listening to it up here about the guy that drove home good. 1,600 this year, applications. We had a all-time high water mark in 1997, and that's when there were a bunch of archery tags that were converted back to any legal weapon and muzzleloader species. And then we had a low water mark in 2004 with 881. And it's been fairly consistent since then. Web applications, paper applications. You have 51,000 clients apply exclusively on the web, 3,600 clients on paper only, for a total of 150, almost 151,000 applications again. 202 clients applied on both paper and on the web. So it's pretty, numbers say it for themselves. Over the years, the number of people applying on the web have constantly grown. And we finished out this year with 144,000 applications on the web and just almost 7,000 on paper.
What's percentage?
It's the next page.
Next one. 4.5%.
When you used to get all the old paper applications, for the record, Hank Vogler, you sat on that money for a while. What's the difference in the money that you surely put that money on interest? Did it? Yeah. How much of a difference is that?
I'm going to take that one. We don't deposit the money to our account, and we deposit it to Indow's account. And actually, it's, I think, to the state treasurer's account. And so I'm not even sure Pat can speak to whether that you guys get any float off that money.
Yeah, we do get it.
But we don't get that.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
License sales, non-resident license sales this year, we almost 1.8 million in standalone licenses and 28,000 in licenses sold with tags for those that said, I only want to license if I'm successful. So we had an increase of 31,000 this year.
I'm going to jump in here again, just make a comment. The gentleman, the fourth one down there, Mr. Capurro on the commission, was pretty adamant on the front side back in '92 that non-residents would buy licenses and to keep bonus points, and that this was going to be a significant issue of revenue. And in the first year, I think it generated $280,000, which was very substantial. And it's grown steadily since then. And at one point, there was even some discussion of removing the requirement that people have to keep a license to earn their bonus points. And
Where's my commission?
yeah, Daryl stepped forward on that one too. And you can see now you're edging up to where it's, I don't know, 6 or 7% of the total Indow budget. These people who don't come, they're non-consumptive users for the large part. I mean, certainly there's some folks from California that come over the border and use the license, but for the most part, these are non-consumptive users, and they make a dramatic contribution to the budget.
Thank you, Mr. Capurro.
And the residents, We haven't been doing that quite as long, and it does seem to be gaining in popularity. It saw a $98,000 increase this year from 2009. PIW applications. And we'll mention this before yet again this year. He had an idea, and it changed the life of the PIW draw, as I understand it. Before 2001, it cost $20 of your deer tag to beat the PIW and half of any other tag you might have applied for. And then starting in 2001, Tommy Ford's idea, it went down to $10 for all species. And this is the slide slide 20 I cheated everyone on. The 2010 number is just not there. The bar for 2010 is missing. I've updated my presentation. This year we did 18,969 PIW applications compared to 18,905 last year. It's pretty much leveled off the 3 years in my mind. But you can see the growth going back from 99 and it just stair steps all the way up. The PIW applications were up slightly, almost 19,000, 101% of 2008, 100% of 2009. The absolute revenues are not also up. I lied on that slide as well. They were down slightly, 156,950 2010.
Ours shows that.
Sorry, sir?
Ours has a bottom line on this.
Yeah, there it is.
The final realized number there, the 156,950, reflects those who drew in the main draw, and their contribution then wasn't taken. And so that's why that can actually be, you can have a few more people applying and yet actually have less money drawn. It's just luck of the draws, who drew.
Resident, non-resident, combined hunt. Of the mixed residency deer applications, group applications, 4% were mixed residency, 20% were non-resident, and 75% were all resident group applications. Or by numbers, 301 group applications have mixed residency within them.
Is that trend been up, down, or what?
I haven't tracked the number, but it's been a small number every single year. I think it probably grew the first couple of years as some people became aware that they were able to do it. But I'll just shoot from the hip and say I'm relatively certain it's never been above 500. Client demographics. 39,000 and change for residents and 15,500 non-residents. That gave you 71.4% for residents applying this year. And the non-resident percentage for a few years was looking kind of grim as it was creeping up. But it improved in 2009, and it actually improved yet again, ever so slightly, in 2010. 28.6% of the clients were non-resident this year. Clients that are applying, Nevada resident clients, or where are they located by county? Carson City at 1,065. Churchill, where we are today, 1,500. Clark, 10,500. Let me tell you the website I go to. Just let me look behind the scenes, and I'll tell you where I got it from. Quickfacts.census.gov. And that's what the that's what that website gave me about 3-4 weeks ago. Is something that smell funny?
No, I just was curious.
And this is a new slide this year. Your residents within Nevada, are they applying by county? Are they applying on the web, or are they applying on paper? And I think let's see, 88% are on the web out of Eureka, and I think that was one of the lower numbers. Now there's 83% in Mineral County. And then it gets as good as Elko. Elko was 95%. Story was 96%. But they're all somewhere between the mid-80s to mid-90s.
I'm going to step in here and tell a little bit of background on this slide. Bob Moyen asked the question a couple of years ago about if there was a change to a web-only draw, would we be penalizing specifically the rural counties, or what would happen? And we were kind of surprised, because if you look at Elko, 95% of the clients are applying on the web, whereas if you look at Clark County, 92% are applying on the web. And so certainly there are some rural counties, Mineral and Eureka and Esmeralda, that have lower percentages, but other than those counties with fairly small number of applicants where the percentage is probably not really material anyway, in truth, the rural counties do have a lot of access from the web. That's was kind of a surprise to everybody involved. We didn't expect that there'd be so many, but maybe it's their remoteness that makes it more convenient for them.
What are other states?
I said this was residents. That's the percentage of all, that's the count of all other states excluding Nevada. So. And then up at the top, I have Nevada unknown. We have some clients with addresses that our mailing software just won't resolve a county. And I'm sure you could look on the map and look it up manually, but my software just doesn't identify what county they're located in.
That's some of those.
And then further detail on the by state for the non-residents. California is the big hitter for non-residents, followed by Utah and Oregon. And then it works its own way on down from there. Applicant age improved again this year for the residents. 42, 9 months was the median age. The oldest, I suspect the past 3 years, I haven't looked, it's probably the same fellow aging every year, 93, 94, 95.
Still hadn't drawn.
Yeah.
Don't forgive him a tag.
Non-residents.
my tag,
provide-
for God's sake.
You see, with the non-residents, the pattern sort of exists too. I guess after 2008, hopefully that gets still around.
That's his brother.
Picked up a deal when in 1991, I expect to see 92 next year. And the non-residents were just a little bit older, as always. So median age was 49 years, 5 months.
Consistent.
Junior hunt, 1107 hunt. We gave 2,400 tags out this year on the 1107. 422 were unsuccessful and 9 rejected. Bonus points. The trophy species, how many points does it take for people drawing with? We issued 291 trophy tags to clients that had no points. Then it works its way on up. Points do matter, and see the percentage climbing over here as you work your way up. 11 bonus points, 14% of the 14% success rate. And, keeps going on up. Don?
Let me step in here too and say that we always get the question, well, does this mean that it's better to have 11 bonus points than 18? No, what we do see is the application pattern for those who have the most bonus points. They get very careful with where they want to spend their bonus points, and their number of choices goes down, and where they're applying goes up in terms of they're going for higher demand, lower success units. Success not in the sense of hardest success, but success in the sense of the number of people getting tags. When they get a high number of bonus points, they want to spend them carefully. That cash is more meaningful to them. So.
Same is true of non-residents. Same pattern exists. Looks like after about 12 or 13 points, you start seeing the success rate drop off just a little bit. Clients applying, these are accounts that the clients just applied for a point, not for a tag. The overall popularity of that has improved somewhat again this year. Last year, we issued 10,600 points to residents, and this year it was up to 13,000. Non-residents were kind of leveled off around 15 or 16,000.
And that was as a result of the bighorn sheep that was not available to non-residents at Rocky Mountain. So that number would have been higher, but there was quite a few non-residents that couldn't apply because there was no quota, no season for that.
And this is a chart of where the bonus points stood after the draw, after points were awarded for the next time around. Moved up to the max is 19 points, and there's 105 lucky or unlucky fellows out there that have not drawn a mountain goat for 19 years.
Now they're told to go.
167 from California. But you can see that the numbers start off are huge for 1 point. You can see it dwindling down as your patience and diligence of applying every year fades away.
And your age goes up.
Same as just more of the same. There were 6 clients that drew 4 tags this year. I don't know if that was lucky or unlucky. And then you can look on down the second column over is count of clients excluding PIW applications, and then the fourth column over includes PIW applications, so you'll see that the PIW tags play in there after a little while.
Where you at?
So we issued exactly 2,500 clients produced 2 tags including PIW, which is 2,510 that drew including PIW. And then if we eliminate the deer, cow elk, and antelope horns short of the nears, the numbers shift a little bit. These are what we consider trophy tags. And 3 clients drew 3 trophy tags. Mountain lion sales this year were up again for the 3rd year running. 2,500 mountain lions this year, up from 2,360 last year. The tag return process that's been going on for 2 years. I've broken this out by hunt and by reason for return. The no reason for return was quite popular this year. 30 archery deer tags were returned. Had some medical, 4 deceased, 5 deceased, the totals on the next page. There was the Nelson Bigler sheep. I actually met the spouse of the fellow that turned that sheep tag in, just by chance. Dylan, will I quietly go out the back door?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, we'll let you pretend like you're not here, but you get to drive. Yes, sir. You get to drive the,
Good portion is we have about 5 minutes left before they claim they can toss us out. And just purpose, we're gonna put the next 2 agenda items on. What is it on to tomorrow once we get done with this?
Okay, go ahead and flip to the next slide. This is obviously the part I hate, when we have to air our dirty laundry, and I'll usually show you a video or something. We've got a couple of photos here, I think. The next photo. And, sometimes you just get it wrong, even with the best intentions. Go ahead. This case, somebody told me this was statutory rape. I'm not sure.
That's not in our packet.
No, you didn't get that whole picture in the packet.
I got it in my email.
Go to the next page, we'll give you a problem summary. Late harvest reports, some clients that weren't charged for stamps. The one that Monty mentioned where we mishandled somebody on the phone, and we had issue with some of the trophy saleable lists, including some data that wasn't desired. And finally, an issue with fall turkey. We'll go through these one by one briefly. Late harvest reports, we had one guy who actually had to pay twice, the bug, and we issued a refund to him, and we corrected the programming and also updated the QA scripts to make sure we test for that in the future. This one really bothers me because we know we're going to break new ground when it comes to mistakes, but in this case we actually repeated a mistake, and it was a mistake we had last year, and we thought we had it corrected and managed to reintroduce it, and we've asked that our QA people put this at the top of the list to look at next year, so that I'm not back here in front of you explaining that we did it yet again. So anyway, we did clean it up. We collected the money from the clients, but it's embarrassing because it happened before. This was the one where we actually told somebody the wrong thing on the phone, and they submitted 2 paper apps, and the issue was training, and we've enhanced the training to make sure that we point this out to our operators. Every year we have what we call foot stomp issues, and the operators come in for the recurrent training, or if they're new operators, that we make a point, stomp our foot during that part of the training, so pay attention here because this is one that causes problems. We had some folks get mountain lion tags on their list. They requested tag lists, and they ended up getting mountain lion tag holders on there. There's a lot of folks, when you sell 2,500 tags, there's a lot of folks on there that didn't draw a regular big game tag, they just have a mountain lion tag, and the guys didn't want to see those necessarily unless they ask for them, and so we've got that fixed up now. And we had an issue with sending out a second penalty letter to some folks this year, and we went ahead and contacted them. They were involved in the spring. And when we went out to the fall turkey folks, we sent out another letter and showed them we corrected that program. We don't just make mistakes, we also make some improvements each year. Big one was the ability for clients to print their own license. This is something they've been requesting. Rather than wait for us to mail them one, they'd like to have that license right away, and so we added that in capability. We also added a couple more servers. For those of you who visit our offices in the early days where we had 1 file server, I think now we've got a couple of dozen file servers. It's grown quite a bit. We upgraded our Exchange server, which is what we send out emails with as well. And we've taken the AccuMail process, which cleanses people's addresses, and we put that on 2 servers now instead of 1. We had a little bottleneck during the draw process, or the application. And so we decided we'd address that with 2 servers. And I want to thank you for the time you've given us. And I'm sure there's somebody at the door with a hook to get us out of here since it's now 5 o'clock. Any questions?
We have anything? Okay. Well, if we got something brief, we can probably do it. And then that, let's,
Two things, really brief. You have a spike with respect to applications that's basically at the end of the process. Is that correct?
That's correct. We get 50% of the applications in the last 5 days.
50%. Is there any way that we could provide some sort of incentive program? This is probably to our DAG. Probably an incentive program, say for the first 2,500 or 5,000 applicants, that they get a chance to draw for a rifle, something like that.
I think it's a great idea. When we were in the paper business and we were getting 90 or 100,000 applications a year, we'd get 70% or 60% of the applications in the last week, and that caused a big bottleneck. I came forward to Endow with the idea that I'd buy a Weatherby or something and put it out there as a draw item, and they ran it past they were all excited. Endow liked it. The folks who were interested in it are no longer there, but they were gung-ho for the idea, but when they ran it past the DAG at that point, and neither of the current DAGs were in position at that time, so I'm not picking on you guys, they saw nothing but problems with it. They were very worried about liability, and if somebody got shot with that gun, et cetera, and we talked about a gift certificate, and there was questions about lotteries, so it basically got too hard, and we abandoned the effort. We have the same situation with the with the web apps as we do with the paper apps, though we can get a few more people applying early since we'll get 3,000 the first day, but we'd like to see that happen. If there was something we could do, we'd be interested in incentivizing it, but I think it has to go to the DAG.
Yeah, that was gonna be my answer. It depends how you set it up. So we'd have to work.
I'd like to
Details
explore
would
it
be
if we
tough to
could.
work out.
perhaps, could work with Ms. Sefton at some point, come up with something
And the last thing I had,
outside of this meeting.
Mr. Chairman, at what point are we going to go strictly to online? Because it makes a big difference in cost factor, I would have to think. If you could eliminate the paper applications and go to strictly online, which most of the states that have a draw like ours are now, and I understand.
Surprisingly, it isn't a big cost difference. We basically tried to balance it, make it revenue neutral, in the sense that we charge the web folks more money than we charge the people who apply on paper, even though there's a cost associated with paper that isn't there with web, which is key. But I have far more costs associated with the web than I do with the paper. And so there isn't a big cost savings there. And if there were, since 95% of the applications are coming on web, that cost savings is largely realized. There are some savings, and I've identified them to the department as to, Ken made a request on this, and I responded to Bob Quinn and gave him some numbers. Utah made the decision at 95%. They've been all web for 2 years now. They had a little drop off the first year, but it probably had more to do with the fact that they raised their application fee from $5 to $10 and also instituted a requirement for a concurrent license at the same time, as opposed to going to the web. So.
Anybody else have anything? Okay, seeing none, we will adjourn, and the next two items, which is 13B and C, we will put on to tomorrow. We have a motion on that?
No, we're not really adjourning.
We're recessing, excuse me, recessing till tomorrow. B, C, D, and E.
I got A's in recess.
Here, adjourn.
Recess.